Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Crystal.
I'm Summer Bishil.
And I'm Ian Carlos Crawford. Today we are here to talk about the Angel Season 1 episode, I Will Remember You, but first we have a co-host joining us, kind of, and it's her first episode here.
Hey everybody, this is Dana Piccoli. I am the editor of News Is Out, a queer media collaboration. I am also an entertainment writer and critic and moderator, and I am a dummy and got my dates wrong, which is why I am being piped in via recording.
And Dana, since this is your first Angel episode with us, tell us your Angel origin.
This is the first time I am ever watching Angel. I am a long time Buffy fan, but I never really caught the Angel fever. And now that I am sitting down and purposely watching Angel, I am definitely seeing some of the things that people talk about when they talk about their love for Angel. Definitely loving Cordelia. So I'm excited to take this Angel adventure.
And I guess right off the bat, we'll talk. Summer, you mentioned this in your little intro video you did for us, where this is one of your favorite Angel episodes, right?
Yeah, because it was one of the few crossovers.
Yeah. So give me your thoughts. How did you feel about the episode before you rewatched it for this? What did you remember?
I mean, I remember having a lot of bitterness towards Angel. I had so much anger towards him. And I still do, after watching this episode.
Absolutely fair.
Yeah. But another thing that I didn't get was why Buffy was so salty to Cordelia. I'm like, come on, she's evolved. She's
right.
running Angel Enterprises. Don't I almost took it personally. It was do you not know how much she's grown as a she is not a write-off.
Yeah, Buffy doesn't seem to realize that Cordelia is all we have in Angel Season 1, and she needs to respect her.
Exactly. It's she's the show, man.
I'm kind of obsessed with this episode. I think that this, for me, was a real big missing key to understanding Angel and Buffy's relationship. This also explains a lot of the way Buffy acts and feels in season 4. I really see this connection between them outside of this high school trauma world, and I get it. They are definitely soulmates, excuse the pun, in a lot of ways. And I loved the quirkiness of the episode, the funny banter between Doyle and Cordelia, Cordelia's jealousies. Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar just acts the shit out of this episode. Getting to see the sacrifice that Angel makes in order to keep Buffy safe, which really should have been Buffy's decision, but whatever. But this really connected a lot of dots for me.
Crystal, what did you think about this episode, in general?
In general, I mean, I vaguely remember this from the first time as I remember they have sex at some point, basically. That's all I remembered. And on rewatch, I think I was obviously incredibly excited because Buffy was going to be in it. And then, I don't know, it felt a little bit flat in the end. I didn't like the themes, and I didn't like Buffy in it, and I really didn't like Angel in it. There were some great moments, and there's some great opportunities, but I think a lot of the opportunities were missed, if I'm being honest with you.
Fair. That's, it's fair. I think of this episode, I think I have nostalgia filters for it because it was like Summer said, it was the crossover episode, and we don't, we get Buffy one more time. That's it. But this is the more actual crossover. The other one, she's kind of there with Faith.
What are the logistics of that? Was it because they're on the same network this season and that's the only time?
But in season 5 and Angel season 2, it's the same.
Oh, really?
It's because Angel goes to he goes to Sunnydale after Buffy's mom dies for the funeral once the sun goes down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird that they didn't take advantage of it when they could.
Yeah.
I think of spoilers. Trista, I don't know if you remember this episode or Summer, but in the last season of Angel, when they quote unquote go to see Buffy, but it's clearly just someone in a blonde wig.
Yeah.
From afar.
I don't remember, but I can't wait.
Like, I remember that making me so mad when I watched it live that it was like clearly just some lady in a blonde wig and it was just like from afar and that's it.
So annoying.
It's like in Charmed. Did you ever watch Charmed? Prue dies, and then just for reasons she's not allowed to reappear as a ghost, even though everyone else comes back as a ghost as soon as they die. It's like,
Oh my
sorry,
God.
Prue is not available to come back as a ghost right now. She's super tied up in the afterlife right now.
So we'll get into the episode. I love that Cordelia's kind of like the audience in this episode. She serves very much as like, because Doyle hasn't, he hasn't been around, but she was around for the whole Buffy Angel like drama, right? So I do kind of like, she's like, here comes Hurricane Buffy, like, and she's explaining it all to Doyle about like, you don't understand, this is, how this works. Like, Angel's gonna be grumpy, he's gonna be this. She's also right? When she tells Angel, like, if my ex came to town and like was stalking me but didn't even say hi, I would be pretty pissed. Like, again, Cordelia is the one that is correct.
Totally. Like, I think when you watch it and you're like, these are 30-year-olds with like probably lots of experience in dating, and you're like, no, wait, hang on, they're just at a high school, and we're like, we're putting Angel in that category too, so fine, it makes sense. This is all very dramatic. It makes sense. But yeah, they're behaving like 19-year-olds who just had their first breakup.
Yeah. Summer, what do you think about that?
I mean, super dramatic. I also loved Cordelia's commentary, like when she's like, we have time for a cappuccino in the director's cut of Titanic. Like, that was super funny. But yeah, I mean, super dramatic. But like, I was surprised on both their ends, right? Because we are supposed to think that Angel's had all this time to develop into this like complex person, vampire. And he's sort of operating at the same level that Buffy is in that first fight, and it's like, come on, man. And then so much doesn't make sense, and it's frustrating when you almost see whatever was happening at the networks or the contracts in the work. Like you're like seeing it in the work, and it's like, ugh, I wish you would have developed a more creative way to deal with this problem of not having her and needing to get her out of this Angel verse as quickly as possible so that the fans didn't expect her to be coming back. And I just feel like they didn't handle it as creatively as they could have. And maybe they shouldn't have done it all together if they weren't going to be able to really like thread it through and have it make sense. But that was also frustrating.
You mean the way they like wrapped out the episode in the end?
Yeah, just the whole story, right? They're like, okay, we'll bring her back. It was almost like you could see them being like, all right, we can't get her back, for any episodes other than this. Is the only one we got. So we got to bring her back, give the big romance that they all want, and then take it away. And that explains why she's never back on Angel again,
Yeah. I always like that when you think of it that way, Summer. I like your TV knowledge when you bring it to like, they probably thought of contracts and this person had the contract. That's why they were there.
Yeah, you can see it. And I don't know if that's happened because I've been I was on a show for 5 years. So I realized sometimes not all decisions are necessarily what would have been done, but you can think of more creative ways to deal with those. It could have been an opportunity,
especially with these characters and in this universe, right? Like
anything goes.
And this kind of like story beat, I feel, in any other context, if you weren't trying to squeeze it into a single crossover episode, that would have been season finale material. That could have been double episode material. But the fact that they rushed all of that into one episode, I feel like it kind of cheapens all of the stuff that they've been through in 3 seasons of Buffy.
Yeah.
And
it
just feels rushed, like you said, and it feels a bit cheap.
Yeah, and I think you're right, Crystal, that the way, because I was thinking that like this felt so condensed and we don't even get enough of Buffy in this crossover episode. You're right that if this had been like maybe 2 episodes or like a longer arc or a season finale, it would have made a little bit more sense. And I mean, this episode is enjoyable, especially, I mean, look, we're on episode, 6, 7 of season 1, and they've been pretty rough so far, mostly anyway. But like, yeah, there's a world in which this episode could have been like better and bigger, because I feel like it's like small in scope for how big it actually should be for these characters, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. But that said, like, I'll take it, because it is, like you say, it's leaps and bounds above what we've been watching so far.
Oh, you mean you didn't love all the cop episodes we've had to go over, Crystal?
I haven't been watching, like, because I watched the whole season like a year ago. I haven't been going watching the between episodes of when I'm on this podcast. So I'm watching. I'm a little bit like, oh, what's the status quo now? But it turns out it doesn't really matter.
Don't worry. That's Zach. One of our other co-hosts, Zach, was confused because he like watched like the ones he was recording for and plans to watch the other ones, and was like, wait, Cordelia knows Doyle's a demon. I was like, no, she does not. He was like, oh, that makes more sense then. But yeah, so Buffy finishes Cordelia's sentence and is like pretty upset. And I do, that is a good kicker for before the credits of like, great, Buffy's here, she's gonna be here. I liked seeing, I mean, I know you mentioned it, Summer, I liked seeing Buffy and Cordelia together. I don't know, and I love Buffy, so no one get mad at me, anyone listening, I love Buffy. Yeah. But the way she's written here is very adversarial to everyone, right?
Yeah, it's almost out of character.
Yeah, like, it's like, I don't know, it doesn't feel very Buffy that she would be all chest puffy and whatever with, like, someone she, fought the battle of her high school graduation with, and, like, her ex-boyfriend that she's still kind of sometimes friends with. Like, I don't know.
How did Buffy and Cordelia leave their relationship at the end of season 3? I can't really remember, but like they were cool, right?
Yeah,
they were fine. Yeah. They all fought for the greater good.
I feel like, right, Summer, by the end of season 3, they're all like cool, right?
Yeah, and I think, but this is why I take it personally, because I played a character on a fantasy show that was supposed to be a write-up and was supposed to be there to say like ridiculous things to like stir the pot. And I remember seasons where like other characters who were like the serious character, or like, the character to be taken more seriously somehow, would like put my character in place a lot. And I would be like, what the fuck? Like, what I'm saying just makes sense though. Like, and I feel like that's what Cordelia does a lot of the times. Like, she wasn't being rude, and it was why are you like nobody puts baby in a corner, I guess, and that's like what they were doing to her, and it just drove me crazy.
Summer, I love so much that you brought that up, because when you were like, I kind of took it personally. I almost said, oh, because you played Margot. And then I was like, Ian, you bring up Margot every fucking time. Don't bring her up. But then you did. So
no, but like, and I would take it personally. I remember when the actors would say they're lying to me. Like sometimes like Arjun would be like, oh, what are you doing, Margot? Like whatever. And I'd be like, why are you saying it like that though? Like what she's saying is really smart. I take it so freaking personally.
Well, it's funny because they do that a lot this season with Cordelia, where like she's right, but the characters are acting as though she's not, even though she's very clearly correct.
And
right?
they're like gaslighting her and the audience. It's like, you have a business because of this woman.
Yeah. Like she's not stupid, but you all treat her like she is.
Exactly.
So yeah, we get, I do like that Cordelia very quickly is like, this is Doyle and we are leaving, because she knows there's not enough room in that room for more than just Buffy and Angel. Like, she knows that they're like gonna do their mopey whatever bullshit. So, again, she's smart. She's like, let's get out of here.
It's a shame. It would have been so nice to see them have an actual moment of like, look how far I've come.
Yeah.
Kind of like Cordelia's smartened up, like she's taking responsibility. That would have been a really nice beat.
Yeah.
Because like you said, Summer, she's the reason Angel Investigations is like the company that they're in, right? Like,
exactly.
It was all her. And even later when Buffy's like, oh, if your crack team hadn't run away, I was like, excuse me, that's rude. Like,
yeah, exactly. That is
rude. But so I this is the only moment where I do kind of get both sides of Buffy and Angel's arguments. This is like the only moment. I don't like Angel's decision-making skills later on, but here I'm like, I get that he went there, but like, I was remembering that the last time they talked, it was after this, we won't see each other anymore. After like graduation day battle, we won't see each other anymore. So even though Cordelia's right and like Buffy has every reason to be pissed, I get why Angel was like, I shouldn't see her. I don't want to disrupt her life. But like everything else he does is pretty like not great. But hearing Buffy say the line, I'm a big girl now, I'm not in high school anymore, I was like, yeesh. If your ex-girlfriend, you are an adult man, and your ex-girlfriend is saying she's not in high school anymore. Like, God.
Yeah.
Not great, Angel.
Not just an adult.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Can you remind me also what happened in the Buffy episode preceding this?
So,
because I feel like that was a bit cheap too in my memory.
Yeah, it's the Thanksgiving episode Pangs, which is like definitely problematic.
They're haunted?
Yes. And like it's like problematic but like a fun, lighthearted. There never feels like they're in that much danger. So it is weird that is what Doyle got a vision of. Because like Buffy's been in way worse danger than that. Right?
Yeah, so it was convenient.
Yeah, it was definitely, I feel like probably, and Summer, right? I feel like it probably was like, the schedules are lining up this week, so we'll do the crossover.
Yeah, it was like so obvious that that's what they were doing. And you guys are right. Like, if it had been spread out for 2 episodes even, or a slight arc, it just would have made more sense. Because it was almost like we went through the heartbreak she has at the end, where she's just so heartbroken. It's almost like what the audience at that time, when it was current and on air, was probably experiencing. That like what could have been and ripped away so quickly, and the intensity of that, it's almost like what they asked of the audience, which is a lot to ask.
Yeah, imagine they had set up the human transformation in the Buffy episode the week before.
Yes.
With like a proper like villain that wasn't just like Demon of the Week that that didn't feel cheap, and then it carried over into Angel, and he's still human, and then he's dealing with that episode is all about dealing with the repercussions of being human. Like that would have had some payoff.
Rather than just like, you were in town, you didn't see me, so here I am. Like, But so as they're like finishing up their talk, this green demon, we later learn is a Mora demon, jumps in, and I don't know if any of you remember, I kept thinking, I was like, oh, yeah. We know that later we learn Wolfram and Hart sent the demon at the end of the episode, but we don't. And it feels very random, right?
Super random. Yeah.
Like, I really thought at the end there was like an explanation, but there isn't. It's just like, yep, there's a demon. He's there to attack Angel. Okay, sure.
Yeah, it made no sense.
Yeah. But like, all right, sure.
Sure.
Fight the demon, Angel stabs him, gets some of his blood on him. And it's like so ridiculous, but like works with it. They like get thrown on top of each other, and as they're getting up, they're like almost kissing.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like it's very ridiculous, but I love it.
Yeah.
And like those are the moments that they're like, their chemistry is there. Like, I feel like when they let them not be mopey and like arguing, their chemistry works, right?
Yeah, they're fire.
Yeah. So they decide to go search for the demon because it gets away. Buffy gets changed, which is weird. But
it's like, I'm going to put on a nice like beige wool blend to go into the sewer.
Yes.
Like if she got changed into like black or whatever, okay, sure, but
like Buffy, you should have put on like a full wetsuit, not some like
a cute light colored top,
camel wool.
Yeah.
So they argue more, and I don't love the writing for Buffy. Again, feels weird. Like her bringing the stake. Like we've seen Buffy use swords and axes. Like. It feels like she would just have a sword or an axe. And her like jumping at the rat feels very un-Buffy, right?
Yeah, that's a little weird. Yeah.
It's like we're 4 seasons into Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like she's good. Like she knows what she's doing.
She can handle a sewer and a rat.
Yeah. But then we do get, which I was like, okay, good. I'm glad I like forgot when Angel's like, I feel weird, but he's actually talking about the blood. But then Buffy does break and is like, I know this is so weird, blah, 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 blah. Like, and like she drops her like puffy chest, like harder exterior, which I do like.
Yeah.
Agreed. And she gives like a full, like that's the scene in this episode I think that feels the most Buffy.
Yes.
Like letting her ramble, letting her put her foot in her mouth, like just a bit of comedy, a bit of lightness.
Right, and that's the Buffy that we love, right? Like she has like word vomit, and she's like yeah, that tracks. She would be a little nervous seeing Angel for the first. Like, okay, all that makes sense. But so then they don't encounter him, right? That's when they have their like, we can't be together, blah, blah, blah talk. And then she says, I was really jonesing for another heartbreaking sewer talk, which I love a Buffy callback. Because I think of their breakup in the sewer a lot when she's like crying and wearing this cute purple top and they're just in the fucking sewer.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that. I didn't clock the reference.
Yeah, it's, I think before prom. That's like, because he breaks up with her right before prom and he's like, we can't be together.
God, he sucks.
Yeah. I'm looking and I'm like, who wrote these episodes? So it was Joss Whedon and then 2 other writers. One of the writer did write 6 episodes of Buffy. So, because it is almost disjointed, like they hadn't written for her character before. Like whoever was writing it. But there was.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, but there was writers who had written.
She's got the receipts.
I'm like looking, I'm like,
who do I have to tweet at that I'm mad about?
There's discrepancies in her character. It's just it feels like someone else is writing for her.
Yes, it really does, right?
Yeah.
Buffy says she'll go above ground to look for the demon, and Angel stays in the sewer. But then he does like very quickly encounter and kill the Mora demon, which I just want to point that out because it bothers me later that Buffy doesn't easily kill him because it feels like she would have, right? But whatever, he kills him, and then we hear like we get that moment of all the whiteness, and then we hear the like heart beating, which I thought was cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Cordelia and Doyle, and I love Cordelia being like, oh, she killed him. Oh no, that's just, I forgot to sweep.
Great moment.
Because also that like makes sense that she would be worried about that, like seeing a pile of dust in this like commotion in the office.
Poor Doyle really doesn't have a lot to do this episode, does he?
Summer, I know you really like Doyle, but sometimes I feel like they didn't know what to do with him. He was just kind of there, right?
I feel like they were really trying to balance like whose show this was supposed to be. And like they should have leaned into the group dynamic because I think what worked about Buffy a lot of times was like the Scooby Gang element, like the relationships and the group effort and the group strategy and like the team playing. And I think they could have just like let that happen more and for longer. But that's just my opinion. I thought they worked really well together, those 3. And that could have been.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I have a lot of love for Doyle too. And does he, is it next week he's done?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
So sad.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, sorry. To all the people listening who have never watched Angel.
Yeah.
Now everyone knows we're spoilery. And Summer and I just talked about season 5.
Right. Well, can I ask, sorry, this is off topic, but like why, does anyone know why they got rid of Doyle? Did they think this will be really impactful or?
From what I have read, and the actor has since passed away. He had like addiction issues.
Oh no!
So he was fired.
So sad.
Because then they just brought in Wesley to be Doyle.
Right. Yeah, and I do think Wesley worked better if they're only having 3. It worked better having a previously beloved, not even beloved, but like a previously known character. That way, it's like okay, we already have. We don't need to set up the relationship here. We know what it is. We just have to develop it. But I would have loved if it was like the 4 of them and like. Because Angel gets better once they realize, oh, yes, we can do an ensemble.
Yes. I can just imagine now Doyle versus Wesley, where like one is actually cool and one is trying so hard. That would have been fun. Yeah.
And I do know that their original plan was that eventually they would bring Doyle back to be like a pseudo villain. And that's why we got that weird season 5 plot, Summer. Remember where like Lindsay uses the name Doyle?
Yeah.
It's like weird.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah, super random. They were going to bring him back. It took me so long to get over the fact that he wasn't going to be on the show. Like when I did the first watch, I was like,
"Oh, really?"
Yeah, I was like, I just can't be in into the show without Doyle. Like it took me forever. Yeah.
So what's great about Doyle is he straddles this line of comical but also very earnest and relatable, and I think that levity is super important in a sci-fi fantasy show. So I get why fans loved him so much and why it was so difficult to not have him as a part of the show.
And like he still feels so much a part of the show. Like it's crazy that he was only in, I guess, 9 episodes because his presence is felt so much longer after that.
Yeah. Well, like, especially they do a good job of like, I guess, especially with Cordelia getting the visions, it's like they do a good job of being like, this came from Doyle. They don't like just let you forget him, right?
Yeah.
And even in Cordelia's last episode, they talk about Doyle, which is nice.
Right.
So basically, Doyle is just the person Cordelia is talking to a lot in this episode. And I do like their relationship. I would have liked to see it go farther, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like, I mean, maybe they didn't, but it seems like they have fun. Like those two, like the dynamic is at least, even if it's not going to be romantic, it's like a fun dynamic.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Totally.
Yeah. So then we get, so they're back here. Angel walks in and Cordelia's like, hey, you walked in the sunlight. Did you get an umbrella? And Doyle is like, oh no, he's alive. Angel kind of like recaps what happened. And I will say, David Boreanaz is not always the best, but when he gets to play like excited, happy, it's like excited and happy and like having fun murdering people as in jealous are when he's like at his best, I think.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Right. So yeah, I found it very charming when he's like inhaling all the like different snacks.
He's got the munchies.
Right.
I love that scene. It was so cute. Yeah.
and I love that like my like Nana brain, I'm like, oh, he's gonna get a tummy ache. And then he does, and he says he got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super, super charming. I always like it when he gets to have fun. I think the last episode I was on, it's when he's wearing that Hawaiian shirt and he's just like, this is Angel like having a nice time, and it makes no sense, but they were just like, let's give David a chance to have some fun again. We'll put him in a Hawaiian shirt for a minute.
Yeah.
For literally like a 5-minute bit. That's like so Doyle's kind of like, he tells Cordelia to go find Buffy, but not to tell her. He also tells her to get mint chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. And Doyle's kind of like, oh, there are these oracles. I felt like in my brain, the oracles were in like a lot of season 1, and I looked it up and they're only in 3 episodes.
And is this their first appearance?
Yeah. And then their third appearance is them dead. Like they die in the finale. So yeah, very weird.
Oh my God, he did my headshots. That's also what I noticed.
Wait.
I saw the name for one of the oracles and it said Randall Slavin, and I was like, where do I know that name from? And I'm like, wait, he did my headshots when I was like in my 20s. Yeah.
Actually?
Yeah, like he's like a photographer. He's like an accomplished photographer now.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. It's so random. I was like, I know that name. Like
That is amazing.
Yes, I know. I was like, what the fuck? Where do I know this guy from?
Is he still like, is he just constantly in a toga? Please help. Just don't even answer. In my head, he will always be in a toga.
Right.
And his skin is gold, right, Summer?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's him. He was
I mean, I've just Googled it. Yeah, he's a celebrity photographer.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's so good.
That is such a weird fun fact, Summer.
It's so random.
Right.
So we get he goes to the oracles. I do really like the oracles. I don't know why they weren't in more, because I think they're like, it almost feels like 2 drag queens like vamping in front of Angel.
Exactly that.
Right?
It is. They look so cheap. They look so cheap. And I mean, that's where we get like let down a bit, I think. I feel like if they'd come in a later season, in my head, the show starts to look a little bit more expensive. Maybe it doesn't. But like...
No, it does. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they would have looked a little bit zhuzhier. But as it is, it's like... It's like a gay guy and his gal pal, and they're going to a Halloween party, and they have not bothered to think of an outfit. And he's like, "Don't worry, I've got these black sheets, and I've got this gold body paint. We'll be fine. Like we're gonna slay." They look so ungodly. It is incredible, but I love them. I love them.
That is so fucking accurate.
He's so camp too.
Yes, he is. Because
Maybe
you're
it's
right.
because he's so twinky looking, but like I don't know. There's something so camp about the both of them. It's great.
And like it's so bright gold, and like it really is just like two black sheets. Like I love that his hair's also gold, but hers isn't. Like
No, she's just got that cheap wig.
But right, they're like fun. That's like I feel like that's shit we loved about Buffy, right? They like
Yeah.
make it work with like a $10 budget.
Oh yeah.
They're kind of like the equivalent of that Oracle in the final season of Buffy, but like she looked wise and old, and they understood like just get rid of her instantly, like just like they were good at that in Buffy.
They're like this, we're gonna breeze by this. Yeah, the oracles they're very like, did you bring us something? Oh, well, like I just love it. I just love it. And yeah, he really does read as like this twink and his lady friend who like got dressed up for a reason. I love that they're pretty sassy with him. Mm-hmm. They're just kind of like walking around, looking at him. But it's like he gives them his watch and they just kind of tell him he's released from his warrior duties, I guess, right? Because he's a human?
Kind of. They're just okay, you do you. It's so like anticlimactic.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm human. And they're like, you are, goodbye. Like, that's kind of...
Yeah.
So then we cut to Buffy, which my big gripe is she's not in this enough. Like, I wish... But part of me gets it, right? It is Angel, not Buffy, the show that we're watching. But I don't know. I understand that this is like all Buffy ever wanted was a normal life, right? That's the whole premise of the show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, is like she has this calling and she does not really want it, but she does it. And then she sees Angel, and I like that.
So has she still hunting for the demon at this point?
Yes,
she's just like in a rose garden, like, where's that demon gone?
I'm pretty sure they're on the Santa Monica Pier again. Is that what that is, Summer?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I couldn't figure that out either. I was like, are they just like giving her a beauty shot, like randomly? Like, and I thought I was like, is that Santa Monica, like in the background?
Right. I wasn't sure, but I do love the like Sarah Michelle Gellar always does very good face acting without like lines, like her like seeing him and the surprise, and then they just kiss without saying anything, which tracks, right? Like these are two people who have all this love for each other, and she like at the very least she's like, oh shit, he's walking in the daylight, something is different. You know, she doesn't maybe know he's human, but she knows something's different, and they just kiss, and that reminds me of like season 7 when they finally see each other again, and their first thing is to like, they've killed Caleb, so now kiss, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a thing I like about their relationship, is kind of like the like unspoken things. Yeah. But so then they have their big kiss, and we cut to Doyle and Cordelia, which I do love. She sees the plant has died, and she's like, this is what happens when Buffy comes to town. And her saying, they suffer, they fight, that's business as usual. They get groiny with each other and the world crumbles. Because, right, she was around for the worst of it.
The worst. Yeah. It went so badly.
Right? So it makes sense that she would be like, no, I do not want them together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely. Like, pure, like, PTSD levels of trauma. Like, they really experienced some bad stuff.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Jenny.
Yeah. I do love that Cordelia's like, I'm sure they're having tea and crackers, and then we cut and they are having tea. Like that's a very Buffy thing, I feel like.
That is funny. Yeah.
Standout moment of the episode.
What'd you both think of this scene between Buffy and Angel? Because this is a very good Buffy Angel scene. I don't know. But Crystal, what'd you think of this when like they're talking about apologizing for kissing and going over everything?
It feels like it tracks story-wise of like, where do we fit in now? And like I guess they couldn't just get down to it on the Santa Monica Pier, and then once you've gotten over that initial shock, like you probably do just need to take a minute and have a chat. So it makes sense. I'm fine. I'm fine with this.
Okay, please don't be mad at me for this, but I do find the Buffy and Angel banter a little repetitive. I mean, how many times do we have to go through this? I love you. I love you. I need you. I need you. We can't be together. I mean, maybe it gets me because I think I've had that relationship before, and it brings up old wounds. But I do like to see them being able to express themselves physically, which has always been such a fraught thing for them, obviously. So getting to see Angel and Buffy have an intimate relationship like humans, and get to laugh and giggle and have ice cream and talk almost like adults. I mean, I know Buffy's only like 19 at this point, but she feels so much older in Angel. But overall, I think I get that physical connection that so many fans always loved, that chemistry. You see it so much in this episode.
Summer, what'd you think?
I thought it was cute, and it was like self-aware in that way that Buffy is.
Yeah.
That Buffy the show is, which I liked. Again, I just feel like they're so overly analytical about something that's so emotional, but they really never address. I mean, they want to, but they really never address the emotional components of what this is and what it means, and he does it for her, which again, and I think he's not doing it in the scene that you're talking about, but he's about to. And it just bothers me so much because, I mean, he's always saying, I'm afraid to hurt you, or we can't go down this road, or it's just so bad for you. And then he does something that's so horrible. I mean, he takes her, like, he doesn't care what her decision would be.
Yeah.
But also in turn, by doing that, I think he takes away her right to like grieve what could have been properly and healthily. And just like cuts her off at the legs, and it's just so messed up.
That's a very concise. That does make me nuts. But I do like this scene, and I kind of like that, like you said, they are being overly analytical about something that is emotional. They're trying to be logical, right?
Yeah.
And they come to this conclusion of, okay, we won't see each other, but we'll stay in touch. And then they have this like very hot makeout scene in the kitchen, which that I like because that also makes sense, right? Yeah. You're trying to think rationally, but you're like, but like also let's hook up, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we've all been there.
Right. Yeah. Who amongst us has not? Yeah. They're like, well, this shouldn't happen.
Exactly.
Then we cut to them post-sex. This is when I'm reminded, oh yeah, like you said, Crystal, at the top of the episode, Buffy's like 19, right? Like, so she's very teenager about it. She's like excited to like lay in bed with him and like, have this moment. And that makes sense for her, right? It really does.
Is this the second time they've had sex?
Oh my God. Yeah. You're right. This is only the second time.
Yeah, they only got down once. It's so funny when they talk about it. Like, do you want to go again? No, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, we've done it twice now in 5 years. We're good.
Well, I don't want a UTI. Like, I'm good. You're human now.
So, we get like them being cute in bed and blah, blah, blah. I do like that she's like, you're human for a minute and there's already cookie dough ice cream in your fridge. And, I just finished Buffy a few months ago, and I kept thinking of how like, I know people like rag on the finale, but like Buffy deserved that happy ending. And she deserved the ending of when she turns around and looks at the road ahead of her. I think of that a lot. And like how Buffy so fucking deserved to have that moment of like, I can look at what's ahead rather than just at the Hellmouth. And this feels like a moment kind of like that for her again, right? She's like, oh, I can just like lay in bed with my boyfriend and like eat ice cream. And like our Slayer deserves that, right?
Definitely. Yeah. You just, the problem, we're just going back to it again, but like the problem is that you just know it doesn't have the payoff it should have, because it's all like, what? Just a demon's blood just did this, and that was all it took all along. And like, it just doesn't feel earned, I think.
Well, and Crystal, you're right that if this were the finale, you could be thinking, oh shit. Like, because like it's the finale, so like you never know where they're gonna go next season. But because it's like the 5th or 6th episode, you're like, well, this isn't gonna stick because there's a whole other show. Like, and especially if you were watching Buffy, like at this point, I don't think her and Riley had kissed yet. 'Cause I don't think they kissed till Hush. But like, we'd been building up their romance, and like, that would have had too much of an effect on Buffy right? Like Buffy, the show as well, would have been affected by this if it had stuck.
Yeah.
We get Cordelia is lamenting the fact that she's out of a job. I do like she says, I'm good for exactly 2 things: international stardom and helping a vampire with a soul to rid the world of evil. I just love
She doesn't get many lines this episode, but they're all solid.
Right? They really are. And she even says, like, that makes her a short but colorful resume. And then Doyle does get a vision right after she says, well, at least you won't get the visions anymore. And I'm still like unclear what the hell his vision actually, right? Like, his vision was like seeing the demon, but he's just kind of like, oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Reasons.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Hand wave.
So then Doyle goes to get Angel, and this is where he starts to remind me of like Riley or Xander, right? Because it's like, even Doyle's like, shouldn't we wake Buffy? And Angel's like, no, I gotta handle this. And it's like, dude, this is a demon and you're a human. Like, yes, wake Buffy, right?
Yeah, it's just so disrespectful to her. And like, just everything, like her entire purpose, her skills, their relationship. Like, it's just discrediting of everything that we know about him and her and all of it. And it makes 0 sense.
Yeah, I mean, so much didn't make sense. You know, like you guys just brought up the what led him to like wake up in the middle of the night again?
Right.
Like, what was that? Like, did he just never go to sleep? Like, if I had just become human, I'd be like, yo, I'm gonna settle in. Like, I'm gonna pop some melatonin.
He's got some gas because of all that ice cream.
I guess that's it.
He's just human, and he's realized he's got IBS.
You know what I did love though is how they both look so fresh. Like when Buffy goes out and she's like, "Where did he go?" And like she's so like her makeup and hair is popped.
Yeah,
like nothing's changed. We're expected to believe she's gone like 5 rounds with this guy, and she's just popped in the middle of the night. At first, I was like, I hate that. And then I was like, you know what? God bless the early on.
Yeah.
Like, bring it back. Because now it's like on shows, they're like, well, you've just been through this and this. And it's like, yeah, but I want to have a glam moment.
Yeah, let me look pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they go, and I just hate that, because I'm like, but like you could get killed, and then that's not good for Buffy. Like,
yeah.
But then we do get the last ever Buffy Cordelia moment of Cordelia. She's like putting, I guess, like price tag, or like she's putting little Post-its on all the items to try to sell them. I do like that she holds up that axe and is like, is this vintage? And she's like, it's Byzantine.
Yeah.
But like,
funny.
The 2 of them are both very good actors. So like, I wish Buffy had been like a little less harsh with Cordelia here, but I think the scene works. Like, I'm like, oh, this is a classic Buffy. Like, it's their last scene together.
Yeah.
Is it really the last time they're on camera together?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the only time, this episode is the only time Doyle meets Buffy. And then this is the last time Cordelia and Buffy share a scene together, because I didn't realize when Buffy comes back, her other episode, just all of her scenes are with Faith and Angel.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
So
Buffy's like, I'm queen.
well.
Kind of.
Yeah, I like that Cordelia's like, didn't you think of him becoming human would affect me? And Buffy's like, no, I didn't.
No.
And Cordelia's like, Angel said not to tell you, which is even more stupid. Like, why not tell her? It's like when Xander would do that, we would get annoyed at Xander. Like, you got to tell the Slayer what you're doing, especially with the demon shit, right? Like,
well, and Doyle
dumb.
is like, shouldn't we like wink the Slayer
right.
for this?
Like Doyle is correct.
You know what I hate most about Angel's decision? He didn't need to do all that to participate in saving the world. He could have worked in tandem with Buffy, but he would have been playing second fiddle to her, which is a whole other thing. But like his whole thing is like, I still need to save people. And it's like, well, you could do that still.
Right. Like Cordelia and like everyone else who are human, they like still help. It's just they can't like do the physical fighting, which is fine.
Yeah.
Buffy is literally always good at the physical fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously.
And I just like, it's so annoying watching men. It's because it's always like one of the men, right? Being like, well, no, I have to do it. And it's like, no, she's stronger than you. Just let her do it.
Yeah.
And she's never mad to do, like, Buffy does it, right? Like,
she's like chosen to do it.
The thing is with this franchise is that normally it's a commentary on how the men try and do that. And it's like, men shouldn't. And it's played for like, no, Buffy doesn't need that. Like, that's kind of the whole premise of the show. So then when you see it done and it's just done as like, as though he's doing actually something noble and something good, and that's never really criticized, it's very kind of shocking. It's like, I can't believe Buffy's being treated this way. She's being abused, essentially.
Yeah, like...
And especially because in later seasons of Buffy, like, memory loss is treated as, like, essentially a... You know, it's assault.
Yeah.
When Willow does it, it's incredibly serious.
Yeah.
Right.
So the fact that he's just done that to her without permission is like, oh, I think it's extremely violating.
Yeah.
I'm pissed at Angel for this. I am so pissed at him because he could have had this life with Buffy that he wanted, but I mean, do we have to take the oracles for everything they say? I mean, of course, Buffy is always going to be in constant danger, but Angel making this decision without Buffy's consent or without Buffy's input, I think while he's attempting to do some sort of selfless act, actually feels selfish to me.
Yeah. Like, if he had gone to talk to them and they were like, well, this is your option, and he was like, let me go talk to Buffy, or had brought Buffy with him.
Yeah, of course.
Like, and that's so easy, right? That's an easy fix. Just him and Buffy both go to the oracles. They would clearly let her in too if they let human Angel in, right?
And then they both hear that Buffy's gonna die if he stays human. Fine. Okay, they can balance, you know, the risk and the reward.
Yes. And like, Buffy is smart, and that's why even at the end when she's crying, she does eventually say, I understand.
Yeah.
And like, she would have come to that, it would have been the same scene, but at the oracles, and it would have been less like Angel's just the one making all the decisions. Like, But anyway, so Cordelia does tell Buffy where Angel has gone, and Buffy goes there, and I do like that she's like, you hurt my boyfriend, and like, you know, has the mace, has all the weapons, and they have their fight. I don't like that the demon really does kind of like almost kick her ass, right?
Yeah, man, and that stunt double, it's so funny when her stunt double is like clearly like twice the size of her. Like,
well, just she's like so tiny, and tiny. Well, Summer, you've worked on a TV show. Is that like harder to find stunt doubles that are smaller because they have to be so in shape?
Well, they have to be so in shape, and they have to protect their bodies and their spines with their muscle and their strength. And I feel like that probably is hard to find. I'm not like some super tiny person though, so I don't think it was like I never had a stunt double where I was like, oh, I don't believe that.
Okay.
But I've seen it with like tiny, tiny actresses where it's like, it's really funny.
It's so great rewatching. I mean, I remember rewatching Buffy in HD and being like, wow, you can really see the stunt doubles. I feel like the TV hit a lot of sins when I was a kid.
Oh my God, yeah. And we like somehow didn't notice any of them.
No.
Right? Like, whenever I go back and watch the graduation day fight between Buffy and Faith, which I love.
Yeah.
But like, that is clearly 4 different actresses in that like space. Like, they do a lot of hairography, I notice, where like, it'll be like, oh, Buffy's like twisting her head real fast so the hair's in her face.
Yeah.
To try to cover it up. But like, it's still clearly a different person.
I always cared more that my stunt double's hair matched mine than anything. Really?
Fair.
Yeah.
That is totally fair.
I'd be like, that looks like a wig.
Well, and you have really good hair, Summer. So like,
thanks. And I was like, try that other wig.
This one looks too cheap. No, we're using another one.
How about that one?
But yeah, this thing like does like a fucking wrestling move on Buffy and like drops her on his like knee and punches her stomach as he does it.
Yeah.
But then Angel kind of saves her by throwing the salt at the thing and then tells her it's the gem, and she quickly And I mean, granted, I feel like in my brain, I was like, why the fuck doesn't he wears a helmet? Why doesn't he cover his, but like, fantasy shows, they got to wrap it up, right? Sometimes you just need to wrap up the villain.
Sometimes you, yeah, exactly. He's all stab the ruby. Stab the ruby.
And then we do, and then we're done with that. So we do see Buffy like cradling Angel because he's like really hurt.
Yeah.
And then we just cut to the oracles again, right?
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
I feel like he would have been really fucked up. Also,
Right?
he fell really far, and it looks like he's super injured by the like as that scene wraps out.
Yeah, she's like cradling him like he like is like cannot move because he's so hurt.
Like he broke a hip. Like maybe that would have been a funny thing. Like being like, I can't do this fight. Like some sort of commentary on just like pain.
Yeah, she's pushing him in a wheelchair into the Oracle's den.
Restore him to his former glory.
And then like that would even make more sense, right? He's so hurt, he can't like function, and it's like the only way I can is if we like fold back time, because also then Buffy would have been more likely to be like, okay, right? Like,
yes,
she definitely would have been more like, I'm upset, but I get it. Let's do the thing.
Your hip is clearly broken.
Right, yeah. But I do think Buffy, our beloved Slayer, she's smart. So I feel like she would have been like, I'm going to write a note about this because I don't want to forget. Or like, you tell me when it folds back. Like, tell me what happened. Remind me. I feel like she wouldn't have wanted to like not know.
I know that he takes it from her. And then I had to think for a moment, does he really? Like, oh yeah. There's no mention of it in Buffy, because I would have never known until I watched the show, and I was like, wait, what? Right. But like, also, wasn't she with like Riley at this time? So like, did she like cheat on Riley? Like,
that was what I did look up. It was like they don't officially get together till Hush, and Hush is like a few episodes after, but they like had the cutesy back and forth.
Yeah.
I often forget because like Buffy was a little like, well, the early seasons were a little puritanical about sex, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
So I often forget that like Buffy and Riley, even though it feels like they're dating already, they hadn't kissed. Like, I feel like any of the three of us, if that were a modern show, you just assume that they're like fucking off screen because they're together a lot.
Oh, they all would have been fucking.
Right, yeah. But because it was, 2000, it was like, oh, no, we're just being cute and we haven't even touched lips.
Yeah. It's interesting how they had to keep like the heroines, like they had to keep them pure in order to be liked or seen as a hero still. And it's so fucking weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, not to toot your horn, Summer, but like that was the thing that I liked about The Magicians, where it's like, oh, this is like queer and nerdy, but like these characters are allowed to fuck, and it's not like
they
shameful or whatever.
I know, yeah.
So the Oracle's basically it's the Lady Oracle that's kind of like, ooh, maybe we can help, and the male one is kind of like, absolutely not, right? Yeah. She kind of is like, I almost like feel like she's like charmed by the romance aspect, which I like.
Yes.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she, what do they call it? Like a temporal fold to take him back 24 hours.
And Randall's like, I don't relate. Like, all my relationships are one night only.
I'm going to look at Grindr after he leaves. So it happens, and he goes home to Buffy, and I do like that Buffy can read his face immediately, like she knows.
Yes.
And like I know I do hate Angel making this decision without consulting her, but the acting here is very good, right?
Yeah, her face. It is heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way like Sarah Michelle Gellar's so good at the like upset to cry face and the like holding on to it.
Yeah.
Right? And like it just stays there, and you feel so like this is a character we love, right? And at this point in time in the universe of these shows, we've watched her for like 4 seasons and some episodes, and like I don't know, like you don't want our hero going through this. Like you feel bad for her.
Why? How did Sarah Michelle Gellar not get an Emmy nomination for this role or guest star, or even for this episode? It's just, it will always chat my ass that she did not win for this. Both of them doing their darndest to express themselves, and those just couple minutes, the watching the seconds tick by, it was a beautifully done, very sad moment.
Yeah, she rips your heart out. Like, she's so fucking good.
Right? Like, ugh. And like, I liked that she is annoyed that he made the decision and that he tells them they have 1 minute, but she knows that arguing with him would be stupid because then it wastes the last minute, right?
Yeah. So she has to be like the bigger person about it all. It's I'm angry.
It's completely unfair to her. But that very much also tracks for Buffy's character. Like, that is very good Buffy writing, where she's like, she knows that an argument or whatever would be a waste. So she just is like, okay, I'm just going to cry and hold you. Like, and that's so sad, right?
It's so sad.
Yeah. And then like her crying, I'm never going to forget, to like the cut of like her immediately forgetting.
So sad.
And I feel like it's a credit to Simon Geller's acting, because the three of us can be like, fuck that decision he made, but then still be like, oh, but you feel the emotional beat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so, then they just kind of like, we go back to the beginning of the episode, and he very quickly kills the Mora demon because he knows how to kill it. And I like that Buffy's like, what? Like, she doesn't even have a chance to move. He just like hits the gem and kills it. And he's like, oh, it's a Mora demon. I knew what that was. And she's like, okay, guess we're done. And then leaves.
And it turns out ultimately that it was a silly plot device, and it really was pretty meaningless.
Yeah.
Almost like they all agree, like, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Now we're fine. Yeah. Yeah, because he never really, I guess it does make sense that Angel's character wouldn't tell Doyle and Cordelia, but I would have almost liked if there was like a scene where he was like, I don't know, like telling them like, well, this shit happened and it really sucks. And like, I've been depressed about it. But like, it does make sense for his character that he wouldn't tell them.
Toxic masculinity.
Yeah, where you gotta like hold it all in until you die.
At like 30. He's like dropped it.
All right, I guess we're at the end here. Favorite outfit, Summer?
Oh man, Cordelia's like halter meaty skirt in the beginning.
It's good, right?
Game over.
Summer, I like that you love the like throwback outfits that Cordelia wears.
I love it. I have a denim meaty skirt that I'm trying to find a reason to wear. I'm all about that style.
I love that.
I have butterfly clips. I'm like, am I too old? Is it passe?
She looks like she's attending the Teen Choice Awards, and she's like Amanda Bynes or...
Yeah.
I do have a special place in my heart for those looks because they're so of the time.
They're so cute.
Totally.
Yeah. Crystal, what was your favorite outfit?
I think I've got to say the same, because everything else that everyone is wearing in this episode is terrible or incredibly unremarkable.
Yeah.
Buffy's red dress, when she's somehow changed after he's been injured and gone off to the oracles, she's there waiting in this red dress. Awful. I mean, the toga's awful. Buffy's little jumper for sewer slaying. No. So yeah, it's got to be Cordelia's denim skirt and halter top. And even that's like objectively not, great fashion, but it is very of a time and really, really fun to see.
Well, and Charisma Carpenter's so hot. She like looks good in like everything they put her in. Yeah. Right?
Very true.
Because like she's got the like everything looks great in that outfit. I will say I have two. It's that, and then I actually don't quit, Crystal, but I actually like Buffy's white, like, it's stupid for sewer patrolling, but I liked her like white sweater. I think she looks cute in it.
I just think it was cute.
It's a very Buffy outfit. It's like nondescript, and I don't know. I'm not excited seeing it. I want fashion excitement. Cordelia is giving us excitement.
Like I said, they have some kind of like stinker outfits this season, but like Cordelia makes most of it work, I think. And that's like, right, that's like when I remember when I talked to the Buffy season 7 costume designer for our coverage, and he did like recaps of every episode, he would say that he loved dressing Emma Caulfield and Sarah Michelle Gellar because they look good in like everything.
Yeah.
And I imagine that's what it's like dressing Charisma Carpenter too.
Oh, yeah.
he would be like, yeah, anything I pick out for them, they look good in it. So like it always worked. And there was like one dress that he was like, oh, I did the hem really bad on Anya's dress in this episode. And I was like, I promise I didn't notice. He was like, oh, I thought it looked too baggy.
He did give some extra TLC to Anya.
Right, he did.
Yeah, you can tell that. Like sometimes you're like, okay, Anya.
Yeah, she would have like one scene with 3 lines and be wearing like the fucking like best outfit.
The look.
And Dana, favorite outfit?
I love Buffy in a simple piece of clothing, and I know Buffy loves to have a long sleeve that kind of reaches past her palms. I don't know, in some ways it makes her seem kind of, I don't know, like she's hiding in her clothes, like it's like a safety net, but I love this just very simple white wool sweater that she wears.
Favorite scene, Crystal?
Ooh, I guess it's gotta be just the campery of the oracles and just their presence in the episode, adding a bit of gay drama and gay campery to an otherwise a little bit serious episode.
That's fair.
Or okay, maybe I'll be sincere and say the heartfelt moment where Buffy realizes that it's all about to end and she's very upset. It's very good. It's very good.
Yeah.
And Dana, favorite scene?
Favorite scene has got to be that end scene between Buffy and Angel. Actually, it's not the end scene. It's the penultimate scene for them when Angel confesses that he has given back his mortal self to protect her. Just so many emotions, and both actors doing a really beautiful job at portraying just the agony of this decision.
And Summer, favorite scene?
My favorite scene would probably be like seeing Buffy and Angel just happy post-coital and like like munching out. I think that was like the cutest, happiest scene. But I also loved the performance that Buffy gave in that final goodbye. I mean, that like blew me away. It's hard to pick an emotional scene to be my favorite because it's like it's emotional, but it was extraordinary acting. She's so good.
You know, that's it. It's funny because I always think like that with The Body because it's such a good episode, but I don't enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's like I would never say it's bad. It's a fantastic episode, but I don't watch it for fun ever. Like,
yeah.
Like Zach, one of our co-hosts, he always lists it as a favorite episode, and I'm like, I understand that. It just can't be a favorite for me because it's just too sad. Like I don't.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
But it's so well done.
Yeah,
I totally know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like a truly fantastic episode. I think my favorite scene is either the Buffy and Cordelia scene, just as I like seeing them together, or, again, the end. I mean, Sarah Michelle Gellar's acting is just so good. And I almost feel like you can kind of tell that Sarah Michelle Gellar, like, she always says that she liked Angel over Spike. Like, that's, like, Angel is the Buffy boyfriend that she picks. And you kind of, I feel like she brings it here.
She does. She brought that home. She was like, this is Buffy's love. And don't you argue with me.
And there'll be no more discussions about it. End of discussion. What grade do we give the episode, Dana?
This is my first A grade Angel episode. I'm going to give it an A, just simply because everyone acted the hell out of it. It had a really great storyline, great writing, and it's never bad to see Buffy in the flesh.
Summer?
I would give it... Okay, I know this is going to sound crazy, but like as far as the Angel episodes go, just because she was in it, as frustrating as the elements of it were, I would give it an A-, just because she was in it. And it's like so rare that it just didn't happen again.
That's fair. Crystal?
Yeah, I think it's true. We need to grade it on the Angel sliding scale. So like a B++? I can't give it an A. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I also give it a B+. And I think, it's mostly the Buffy of it all and maybe a little bit of the Oracles. But same. Well, thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for listening. Crystal, Summer, and Dana, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. If you want to support us, you can find us on Patreon. We're going through Harley Quinn Season 2. We'll get to Season 3 soon. We're also covering What If. We've had a lot of... Also cover random movies and everything. Had a Stranger Things episode. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are at Slayerfest X98 on all social media platforms. And if you want to follow me, I am at Ian Carlos. Dana, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dana Piccoli. That is 2 C's, 1 L.
And Summer, where can everyone find you?
Summary Bishil on Instagram and at SummerBishil1 on Twitter.
And Crystal, where can everyone find you?
It's Crystal Will See You Now on Instagram and Twitter.
Cool. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for having me.